I'm Amira. I'm the founder and CEO at Struct Club. Struct Club, as you know, is all about bringing structure, elevating structure for instructors of music-inspired fitness classes. And today, we're just giving our 101. You're getting the full app tour, and here's what we'll cover. Number one, tools to design and run class. Number two, features to build classes faster and better. Number three, sharing classes with your pack, and what's included in our membership. So once you jump into the app, explore Struct. We've been really excited to launch this entire aspect of our app within the past year to celebrate our community. So most of these templates that you'll see here, ready-made classes, they come together with all of the moves as well as playlists, are contributed by instructors all across our Wolfpack at Struct Club. So just starting from the top, we have 4 categories of templates that we provide for new releases. We have a featured section. These are often thematic classes and can do kind of an infinite scroll of all of the classes, all the templates that we offer. And this just provides a way for you to go ahead and get started without classes having been built in the app. And as you click into each of these buttons, of course, you're going to see that the various classes within each category are just going to load up. When you click into a specific class, so clicking into class details, you're going to be able to see a bit more granular information about the class. You can get a full description of the class when you click on more, for those who like to peruse a bit about what's going on in this class, what's it about, what are the goals, the coach themselves, even be able to click and follow them on Instagram. You can pop that close with the less button as well. And you can see a full preview of the playlist and the length of the class. You've got the share button here. What this will do is, if you absolutely love this class and explore, you want to share it with friends, share it with colleagues, you can just hit that share button. And what it'll do, it'll pull up, first of all, a sharing sheet. You can text it. I could text it to myself, for example. You can airdrop it to somebody who's nearby. You can email it. It'll generate a link. You can even post the link on your social media channel and just directly message the link to anybody that you want. So that'll just bring them into the app, into the share page. If you're sharing anything with anybody, by the way, and they don't have the app already, it'll take them to the App Store to download Struct Club. So you don't really have to worry about that. Anytime you want to go in and edit a template, you're like, well, maybe this song isn't really my thing. You can go ahead and click the edit button. It'll take you right into our editing mode and display. We'll just jump into this editing mode right after we jump into our library. So I'm going to close this up for now. And you'll see that once you've edited a class, you'll get an alert. Success, we've added this to your library, and we're going to go ahead and jump into the library. So you saw that we were just in Explore. So there are 2 tabs in this app, Explore, which will take us back, and Library, which will take you into your own personal library. So you'll see that here I've accumulated more than a few classes that I have created myself or pulled in from Explore. We're going to go ahead and create a new class. So you'll see on the upper right-hand corner, this plus button. This will go ahead and allow you to start creating a totally new class. So I'll hit this, and you can start from one of 2 places. You can start through your playlist, or you can reuse songs. We're going to start with the first option just for now. And when I hit playlist, you'll see, in my case, I'm integrating with Spotify. Struct Club, as a lot of you know, works with both Spotify and Apple Music. So if you haven't connected to a music app before, it'll ask you to select one or the other. So here, this is pulling in my playlist from Spotify. You can see Peak 2, Summer Hits. This is something I used on May 27th. So how about we go with Summer Hits? And when I select that playlist, it'll give me a preview of all of the songs, all of the artists, and all of the BPMs of the songs. So this is an auto pull. For those of us who have been instructing for a minute, pre-Struct Club, if you were using an app to kind of like tap out to tap out BPMs or Google each song and what those BPMs were, yay. If you're using Spotify, this takes care of it for you. I think I like this playlist, so I'm going to select it. And this pulls me into the editing view. This is really kind of the granddaddy of functionality in our platform. There are a lot of features in here that are built in for going as high level or as granular as you want into planning a class. If you're jumping into the app for the first time, there's kind of this tutorial-y text, meet the class timeline. The top bar is for adding moves and cues, and the bottom bar displays the current track. So here, I'm going to scroll in a little bit so you can see this top bar for adding moves and cues. And this is obviously the song, Montero, Call Me By Your Name. I'm going to go ahead and select this top bar. You'll be able to see for any song or segment, the duration. So that's what this time is. This song is 2 minutes and 17 seconds. And we're gonna go ahead and edit this segment. So once I select that, you'll see over time that the app is going to recognize your behavior as well as your patterns for planning class. So you're automatically going to get a list of recommendations that you can scroll through infinitely of moves that you've added and the order in which the app might suggest a certain thing will correspond to a given song. But you can enter something new from scratch, or you can search your move library through here. For me, since this is the first song of our class, I'm going to look for warm up, and you'll see this pop up right at the top. So I'll go ahead and select warm up, and it'll take me to fill in any additional types of cues that I would like. So the first one is intensity. You don't have to input one at all, and it'll say undefined. But if I move the slider over to the right, it'll give me the option to input an easy intensity, moderate, hard, and all out. So these are the categories that we currently have for intensity. Probably not going to warm up all out at this moment in time. We'll start the class easy. You'll see that the song BPM, the auto readout for Montero is 179 BPM. However, anytime you see something that's over 130, what the app will do is slice the cadence display in half. And so you'll see the cadence here is 89. If you don't like the cadence display that you're seeing here, you can click on it. You can write in anything that you want. So if I actually do want to go, say, at 130, I can input that. Or if we were starting at 89 and you wanted to go double time or at halftime, probably more likely halftime for this case, I would click this cadence slice in half. Or if it started at 44 and I want to double the cadence, I can hit ×2. Whenever you're done, you can select done. So just so you know, you can edit this portion. It's not going to speed up the song or slow down the song. This is just a display. And notes, this is just an open field where you can add any kinds of notes that you want. I might say welcome, any old thing that you want, you can put them in the notes. And these will play back to you in real time once you're playing the class. So I'm gonna go ahead and save that down, and you'll see that populate right into this top bar of the timeline. This is actually going to be really great for taking us into the next portion of the chat, list view. So here you can reorder, copy, and paste songs with all of the cues included. Let's go ahead and check out list view. So that's this little list on the bottom right. You can see the full playlist here, again, with all of the BPM readouts. There are a few things you can do. One, obviously at the top, you can reorder them. So when you hit reorder, it'll go ahead and show you these 3-line draggers. So if you hadn't, while you were creating the playlist, determined exactly the order that you wanted, you could go ahead and determine that order now. So you can drag things along and reorder. When you're done, you can hit done. And if there are some songs that you're like, well, maybe I actually don't want to include it, but swipe left on the song and hit delete. So you can go ahead and abridge a class by doing that. If you didn't totally finish the playlist, you can go ahead and add a song. So this will pull up the, in this case, Spotify song search function. In Apple Music's case, the Apple Music search function. We can go ahead and I can add this song. You'll see it populate right at the bottom. You can copy any song with all of the cues across various playlists. You can do that by long pressing on a song. So I'm going to press and hold on this first song. You'll see this copy button pop up, and I can hit copy. And anytime I jump into a new playlist, I can go ahead, long press again, and hit paste. And what this will do is put that song below the song that you pasted it. Again, if you want, you can reorder it anywhere. I'll back out into the timeline. When you want to tag a song more granularly, maybe based on a particular moment or a transition in the song, you want to mark where a verse ends and a chorus begins, you can use this button at the bottom called Add Mark, and it'll split that top segment. Here, anytime you add a mark, it'll create a new segment for you to be able to add moves and cues into. If you'd like, you can actually go ahead and select the mark and delete it. It'll also tell you whenever you select a mark where it's located within the song. So this is at 36 seconds into the song. Another thing you can do with these marks, if you'd like, is hold and drag them if you'd like to move the segment that way. Whenever you delete a mark, it'll go ahead and populate everything from the right of the mark to what the content was to the left of the mark. Another tip with marks is similar to any mobile buttons. I'm going to tap this and you'll notice I'm tapping this, but it's not adding a mark. It'll add the mark when I lift my finger. So if you want to get really precise, I don't want this a millisecond after or a millisecond before that particular moment of the song. Just wait to lift your finger at that right moment. It works similar to just any other button in any app. And whenever you're done, you can go ahead and hit done. You'll see it populate in your library. So here's summer hits. Here's your latest class. You know, one of the features that I love is in your library, as you're running to classes, you're getting ready, you want to review class, you can go ahead and select a class and it'll give you the full details of your roadmap, every song and what's coming up. So here, the app's letting us know that there's this little ... section, a little ellipses of options. You can tap this to share, rename, duplicate, or delete your class. So we'll go ahead and see what those options are. Submit, share, rename, duplicate, delete, and cancel. This submit button is something to enable anybody to be able to submit and audition classes that you would like to get featured in our Explore tab, that initial template library that we were showing. So if I wanted to submit this one, for example, submit, and it'll give you this little notification, success, congrats on submitting your class for audition. And we'll just loop back with you. Even if you play around with it and you're like, oh, actually, I didn't want to submit that, you can go ahead and let us know. So we'll go back into these options and see what else there is. So there's the option to share this class. You'll see that button here as well as up here. This will do the same thing as the share button that we were looking at earlier. When you hit share, it'll pull up this share sheet. Again, you can airdrop, you can text a link, you can just even copy the link and add it to, say, your link in bio on social media. A couple aspects about share. One is when I create a share link, will this last forever? We'll keep it live for 7 days. So what other functional pieces do we have in these options? You can rename the class by hitting rename. Another thing you can do, by the way, is just actually go ahead and tap on the name itself to rename it or edit the name. For folks who like to start with old classes to create new classes, you can duplicate a class. What it'll do is add it to your library right at the top. It'll call it a copy. You can go ahead and see that this has all of the queuing that I had laid out for the class prior, but I can go ahead and edit it. I can switch out the songs. So here's another functional piece where when you select the song, it'll show you the duration of the song. You can switch out the song, you can delete the song. So that covers really all of the editing functionality and the majority of library functionality. Here are a couple other features, especially for those who love shortcuts. You can swipe right or swipe left on a class to get to shortcuts. So here, I'm going to start with swiping right. This will take you to the editing view really quickly with this pencil. And then when I swipe left, you'll get a really quick shortcut to the share button, the delete button, as well as the duplicate button. So I'm going to go ahead and say duplicate this class again. I'll say copy, copy, because it's a copy of the copy. And I can go ahead and delete really quickly. It'll ask if you're sure to delete. There have been some times where we get questions like, hey, I accidentally deleted this class. I overrode the alert. We can't recover them after you delete them. Make sure that You read the alerts that we elevate for you because we really want to make sure that you're not deleting classes that are unintended. This search view is a way to search classes by title. If you're like, well, what was that song that I used in a ride from before, or you want to search your rides, you can go ahead and search ride, and it'll display all the classes that you've got with the name ride in it within the title. So I'll go ahead and back out of that. Anytime y'all are ready to play a class, when you see this play button, whether it's from the library, whether it's from the details, or whether it's from Explore, it's going to elevate our run view and it's going to start to play some music. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. You'll see it authenticate with Spotify. So I'm going to pause it for a second just so we can walk through what it is that we're looking at here. You've got every cue that you've input that elevates at the time that you had set. We had set warm up at the beginning, cadence at 55, intensity, easy, and you'll see blue that corresponds with that easy intensity. And then the time remaining. So this is a stopwatch countdown timer. So when I hit play, I'm going to hit play again for a second. You'll see it count down. So anytime you can let class know we have X many seconds left of doing whatever it is that we're doing at the moment. Here, we've got a color bar that expresses the intensity that you have set across a given song. You can see there's an easy chunk, a moderate chunk, followed by an easy chunk, and so forth. And you can also see that the length of these chunks correspond with the length that you had set. Here's where I input the notes for this class. One thing that you can do if you're feeling like, this view is a little bit too small, when you click on it, it'll open it up to make it bigger. So you can open it up or close it up to make it bigger or smaller just by a tap. Here in this section, you can see what's coming up next. So this is what we're on, warm up. We're at 55. It's for 9 seconds. You'll see this countdown as well. And then next, we're going to speed it up. We have a double time segment that's at 110, so double 55, and that's going to be for 17 seconds. After that, we are at halftime again, 55 for 17 seconds. And here in this section, you can actually scroll. So you can get a little bit of a preview of what's coming next. And if you scroll a little bit too out of view, when the next segment comes up, it'll snap back. So just in case you get lost, no way to get lost in Struct Club. And then there's a song display right here at the bottom. Here's one thing another thing that we launched in the spring. I'm just going to check that my phone is unlocked from being able to move it from side view to vertical view. So this is something that you'll have to do to enable this feature, is you can turn your phone and you can have a landscape view of the class as well. Another thing that we've seen folks do a lot, especially teaching on Zoom or as screens have popped up in your studio, is use Apple TV or use a plugin to screen display the class to your students. So this is something that if you don't want to be, saying 3, 2, 1 at every segment, those of us who are instructors, that's a lot of our job. It's 3, 2, 1 and 3, 2, 1. You can go ahead and have them look at how many seconds that they've got left in the segment and what it is that's coming up. This helps them manage their energy a lot. I've seen students, for me personally, really respond to the screen share view through Zoom or through Apple TV in the studio go down really well. So I'm going to go ahead and switch this back to vertical view and share another feature, which is our list view. So it's this right arrow in the upper right corner. And when I click it, some folks prefer this. It's purely a list of everything that's coming up. It also shows you the time that has gone by during class and the time that's remaining. So you can go back and forth with this button. We're going to scroll down a full view into every segment that's going on within every song, how long it is. And again, anytime you kind of scroll out of the current view, what it'll do as you're playing, that next segment will come up and it'll just snap you right back into place. The current segment is the one that's highlighted in blue. So switch back here. And then anytime you want to end class, of course, you can X out. And another thing that'll happen here, just because you don't accidentally want to tap that button and end class prematurely, We're going to ask you if you're sure. Are you sure you want to end class? This will end your class. And you can cancel out. Oh, actually, I didn't press that. I didn't mean to press that button. I'm going to cancel out. Or in fact, you can go ahead and end class. Just like any standard players, a couple of buttons here, fast forward to the next song, jump back to starting the song over again, or if you tap it a couple of times, it'll go to the previous song. So that is the full functionality of run mode when you're actually running class. So we'll go ahead and finally end this class for sure. Yes, in fact, do want to end the class. Awesome. And in the upper left-hand corner, these are your settings. Anytime y'all want to give us feedback, there's this contact us button, and I'll take you directly to our support email. All of you here are members. Refer a friend, get a month free when they sign up. Give a month, get a month. So this refer friends button will generate our unique code for your friends. On occasion, just as a troubleshooting note, there are times where Spotify or Apple Music, you've restarted your phone or you've updated it to the latest iOS and it's disconnected. Your music service needs to be connected in order for you to be able to view your library, to play music, and so forth. So just go ahead and check if your music service is connected. You can manage your subscription. Maybe you want to switch over from, for example, monthly at $15 a month over to annual for $129.99 a year. That'll save you 32% or $50 over the course of the year. So quick pro tip there. Or if you want to move over to a lighter monthly model, you're not totally sure, you can just go ahead, click manage subscription, and go ahead and do that on your own yourself. Of course, you can also contact us anytime. If for any reason you wanted to log out, say you're using a shared device at the studio and you're logging into your account from a shared iPad, you can log in and log out from there. When you're contacting us for support, we might ask you, which email are you using for your account? You might be emailing us or contacting us from a different email, say your work email or a personal email, when instead for Struct Club, you're using your work email. So we might check with you, hey, like which email are you using for your account? I'm not seeing this email that you contacted us with within our account database. Just go ahead and check in your app. It's going to be at the bottom here. So just some, quick overview of those granular settings. Struct Club will work across your iPhone. It'll work across your iPad. And if you have iPod Touch, it'll also work across that. You can also screen share through Apple TV. Or for me, anytime I'm screen sharing, I like to use a cable to screen share just to make sure it's solid. So yeah, just being able to use Struct Club on different screens, those are the different things that you can do. The integrations that we have with Spotify and Apple Music, both of those apps require Wi-Fi and or strong internet. If your LTE is strong, definitely possible to use Struct Club and play your music. But that's sort of when those connection points get a little bit more finicky.
Do you do kind of studio memberships, or is it sort of, would you encourage it to be more about like each individual having their own version of the app?
So yes, we do allow employers, and this is for all of you instructors out there, we do allow employers to sponsor memberships for Struct Club. This is also important for those studios who want to make sure that they're able to distribute content directly to instructors. Somebody in HQ is doing all of the programming. You may or may not want instructors to be doing every single aspect of programming. Maybe you have special music for the studio, for example, or we've seen some studios, and this is amazing and very granular, but they compose their own music and they want to be able to use that for the classes. There's so many possibilities that are out there, right? And being able to, have control of that programming or initial control over the templates at headquarters, and then be able to distribute that out. That's a really great use case for a collective membership or a team membership, and having instructors on the team using maybe corporate emails or team emails instead of their own personal emails. So that's something that can also help keep it really clean for those of you instructors who might teach at multiple places and you have maybe different libraries and different programming, or even different things that you're teaching at different studios. You want to have separate accounts. that's totally something that we can have a conversation about. Again, for those instructors out there, if you want like a free account, or if there are folks or employers who want to be very streamlined about the programming across the team, it's absolutely something that we want to be able to help out with. So we have a few playlists on our YouTube channel, including tutorials for features, as well as more educational videos, different topics, different panels that we have had, and even tutorials that might not be app tutorials, but things like playing music in your classes and screen sharing, and different things like that, where you can use Struct Club to interact with other aspects of teaching.